For several years, the world has watched the escalating public conflict between Prince Harry and the British monarchy, a saga of tell-all interviews, best-selling memoirs, and damaging accusations. But now, new reports suggest that this long-running war of words may have reached its final, desperate endgame. The central claim comes from veteran investigative author Tom Bower, who alleges that Prince Harry, facing a precarious financial future and a fading Hollywood profile, is secretly maneuvering for a return to the royal fold. The proposal, according to Bower sources, is for a hybrid model of royalty, a part-time role that would allow him to reclaim the prestige and security of the crown while continuing his commercial ventures. But the response from Buckingham Palace has reportedly been swift and brutal. Sources indicate that King Charles, Prince William, and Queen Camilla are united in a rare, ironclad consensus. The door is permanently closed. So what is the truth behind these claims? Is this a genuine attempt at reconciliation or a calculated move born of desperation? And what specific betrayals have made a potential return not just unlikely, but impossible in the eyes of his own family? This investigation will dissect the evidence, from the immense financial pressures to the unforgivable family feuds, to reveal the inside story of why Prince Harry can likely never go home again. To understand the core of this alleged plan, we must first analyze the motivating factors, which appear to be twofold: a crisis of identity and a looming financial reality. Prince Harry is, by all accounts, a man defined by the central trauma of his life, the death of his mother, Princess Diana, in 1997. Author Tom Bower, along with other royal analysts, suggests that this event has left him with a deep-seated suspicion of the media, an institution he holds responsible for his mother's fate. The graphic narrative of a paparazzi chase through a Paris tunnel ending in a fatal crash has shaped his every interaction with photographers and journalists. His numerous legal battles against British newspaper groups are not just lawsuits. They're a lifelong crusade against the forces he believes tormented his mother. This perspective was intensified by the UK's phone hacking scandal, which solidified his belief that the press was not just intrusive, but actively malicious and responsible for the failure of his past relationships. This has created a worldview in which he often sees himself as a victim, fighting against the same forces that pursued his mother. Alongside this psychological profile is a personality that, according to insiders, thrives on public admiration. He found this validation during his decade of service in the British Army. As Captain Wales, he was a national hero. His 2 tours in Afghanistan, where he served as a forward air controller and an Apache helicopter co-pilot gunner, gave him a clear sense of purpose and earned him widespread respect. The Army provided a meritocratic structure and a camaraderie that was a world away from the perceived scheming of the royal court. It was a structured environment where his role was clear and his contributions were valued. However, outside of the military, his judgment has often been questioned. A series of public scandals, including the notorious decision to wear a Nazi uniform to a natives and colonials-themed costume party, an event also attended by his brother, and the incident where he was photographed naked in a Las Vegas hotel room after a game of strip billiards, painted a picture of a man prone to impulsive behavior and lacking the discipline required for his senior royal role. This background is critical to understanding his current predicament. After leaving the royal family, his and Meghan's new purpose was to become global humanitarian figures, funded by a new career in Hollywood. However, that path has proven to be more challenging than anticipated. This leads us to the second primary motivator: financial pressure. A detailed financial analysis suggests the Sussexes' lifestyle in Montecito, California, is extraordinarily expensive. They purchased their estate for a reported $14.7 million, which comes with annual property taxes in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, plus immense costs for utilities, landscaping, and general upkeep. Added to this is the multi-million-dollar annual bill for the private security necessary to protect a high-profile family, a full staff of public relations and legal experts, and a lifestyle that befits their global brand, including private jets and designer wardrobes. The total annual cost is conservatively estimated to be between $2 and $3 million, and likely higher. To sustain such an outflow of cash requires a consistent inflow of multi-million-dollar deals, and it is here that their Hollywood ambitions have begun to falter. Their much-publicized deal with Spotify, reportedly worth $20 million, was terminated after they produced only a handful of podcast episodes, leading a senior Spotify executive, Bill Simmons, to publicly label them FING grifters. Their Netflix deal produced a docuseries that, while highly watched, was widely criticized for being a one-sided account of their grievances and has not yet led to a pipeline of other must-see content. Meghan's latest venture, a lifestyle brand named American Riviera Orchard, has had a shaky start. Its launch, promoted via a limited run of jam sent to celebrity friends, was seen by many PR experts as underwhelming and has been met with some public ridicule. The commercial reality is setting in. Sustained influence and income are not guaranteed. As one financial analyst noted, fame doesn't always equal influence, and influence doesn't always equal money. It is within this context of a faltering Hollywood dream that Bauer's claims of a secret comeback plan emerge. The allegation is that Harry is beginning to realize that the most valuable asset he ever had was his official connection to the crown. His renewed interest in duty is therefore being interpreted by critics not as sincere regret, but as a pragmatic move in a high-stakes game of survival. He allegedly wants the benefits of the family business without having to work there full-time. The reaction from that family business, however, has reportedly been one of unified and unequivocal rejection. According to palace sources cited by Bauer, the suggestion of Harry's return was met with pure revulsion. This is a rare instance where the three most powerful figures in the monarchy, King Charles, his heir Prince William, and his wife Queen Camilla, are said to be in absolute lockstep. Their collective decision is final. Harry will not be returning to royal duties in any capacity. The foundation of this rejection is what the family sees as a profound and unforgivable betrayal. From their perspective, Harry and Meghan didn't just leave. They launched a sustained public campaign to damage the institution and the individuals within it. The family believes you cannot spend years giving interviews accusing your relatives of racism, emotional neglect, and institutional cruelty, and then ask for your old job back when other opportunities dry up. The Netflix series was seen as a deliberate attempt to create controversy, and the memoir, Spare, is viewed as the ultimate act of treachery. A senior royal choosing to expose the most private family moments and conversations for commercial profit is, in their world, the gravest sin imaginable. For King Charles, this is not just a matter of hurt feelings. It is a matter of professional responsibility. His primary role as monarch is to preserve the stability, dignity, and political neutrality of the crown, allowing his son, who has become a symbol of controversy and division, to return would be seen as an act of profound weakness. It would undermine his entire effort to steady the ship after the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Harry, in the view of the palace, represents chaos. The king's job is to represent order. The two are incompatible. This stance is informed by history. When King Edward VIII abdicated, he was effectively exiled for life. While he retained a royal title, the Duke of Windsor, he was never permitted to resume any official role or reside in the UK. The family understood that his presence would be a constant, destabilizing reminder of a constitutional crisis. Charles appears to be applying the same logic to his son. The opposition from Prince William is said to be even more intense and personal. The fraternal bond, once a cornerstone of the monarchy's public appeal, has been completely destroyed. William is reportedly furious at the mere suggestion of his brother's return, viewing the entire notion as manipulative. The reason lies in the deeply personal nature of Harry's attacks in Spare. Harry accused his brother of physical violence, painting a picture of an out-of-control heir to the throne. He ridiculed Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and exposed private text messages between her and Meghan. These were not attacks on an institution. They were attacks on his brother's character and his wife's dignity. For William, the trust required for any working relationship, let alone a familial one, has been obliterated. He reportedly sees this alleged comeback attempt as nothing more than a cynical ploy by Harry to use the credibility of the monarchy to prop up his own flagging brand. The word from William's camp is clear. There is nothing to discuss. Then there is the formidable opposition of Queen Camilla. In Spare, Harry reserved some of his most pointed criticism for his stepmother, portraying her as a calculating villain who played a long and manipulative game to secure her position as queen. He effectively accused her of sacrificing him to the press to improve her own public image. This attack was not just personal, it was strategic. It sought to undermine the legitimacy of the new queen consort at the very beginning of the new reign. Sources say that while Camilla was initially deeply hurt by the characterization, that hurt has now transformed into a resolute anger. She has reportedly made her position crystal clear to the king. Harry's return is a non-starter. Having spent decades weathering public hostility during the War of the Waleses in the 1990s to finally earn her place as a respected and popular queen consort, she is not prepared to allow the man who publicly tried to destroy her reputation back into the inner circle. Her influence with the king is immense, and her opposition forms an impenetrable roadblock to any path of return for Harry. The damage caused by the memoir Spare cannot be overstated. It is the single biggest obstacle to any reconciliation. From the palace's perspective, the book was not a simple recollection of a life. It was a strategic assault. By mocking traditions, revealing private medical details, discussing his Taliban kill count, a major breach of military etiquette, and casting revered figures like Queen Elizabeth II in a negative light, Harry broke every unwritten rule. He committed the cardinal sin of turning private family life into public entertainment. The question that is repeatedly asked within palace walls is, how can you trust a man who has proven he is willing to sell his family's most intimate secrets for profit? The consensus is that you cannot. This position is overwhelmingly supported by the British public. The moment these new claims from Tom Bower were published, the public reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly negative. Opinion polls consistently show that more than two-thirds of Britons are strongly against Harry resuming any official royal role. Social media platforms were flooded with hashtags like hashtag #NoWayHarry and hashtag HeChoseHollywood. There is a strong sentiment that Harry made his choice to leave, and he must now live with the consequences of that choice. For many, particularly older Britons who revere the late Queen, Harry's public complaints during the final years of her life were seen as deeply disrespectful. The idea of him returning now is, for them, unthinkable. The court of public opinion has delivered a clear verdict. Finally, there is the alleged role of Meghan Markle in this comeback strategy. Many royal watchers and insiders believe she is the driving force. With her own professional projects facing challenges, the theory is that she views a renewed connection with the royal family as a last-ditch effort to maintain A-list global relevance. The goal, they suggest, is not to serve the British people, but to gain a royal seal of approval for her own commercial brand. She wants the legitimacy of the monarchy without the restrictions of the monarchy. This perception of her as an opportunist has only hardened the palace's resolve. Critics point to her pre-royal career, including her lifestyle blog, The Tig, as evidence of a long-held ambition to build a personal brand, a brand that was supercharged by her marriage into royalty. The view from the palace is that she was a savvy operator who saw the crown as a launch pad, not a lifetime commitment. In conclusion, the story of Prince Harry's alleged comeback plan is a cautionary tale about choices and consequences. It appears he is a man caught between two worlds, belonging fully to neither. He has discovered that the freedom of California comes at the cost of the status he was born with, and that the public's fascination is not guaranteed. He has burned his bridges with the one institution that could have provided him with a lifetime of purpose and security. The response from his family has been unified and absolute. The public has voiced its opposition. The door to his former life is not just closed. It has been locked and bolted. The monarchy, as it has done for centuries, is protecting itself, and it has made it clear that there is no place in its future for a prodigal son who is unwilling to accept the terms of his inheritance. A lifetime of unwavering duty.